Quaint, tranquil, beautiful. These are the words that come to mind when people visit America's Emerald Isle. At 55 square miles, Beaver Island is the largest inhabited island in Lake Michigan. The only way to access the island is by small plane or a 2-hour ferry ride. This isolation has shaped Beaver Island's history, culture, and everyday life.
Hello, Ani Buju. We are Anishinaabe, and we've been living on Beaver Island, or Amikwadendad, since recordings began.
We came here in the 1860s and homesteaded. Some of our challenges teach us a lot of patience. We have major storms. We're very isolated. Tourism right now is our bread and butter.
We go from, I think we had 40,000 visitors in the summer last year to 600 people year-round-ish.
Safe, reliable energy has always been an issue for the island.
There is an underwater cable that runs from a tip here in the harbor to Cross Village. We've had anchor strikes, more than one. We had a big enough windstorm that knocked the whole island out.
You have elders on the island. You have people on oxygen. Electricity goes out. It's a real serious issue.
But say it was the end of winter and it was a hard winter and we were low on our fuel.
The winter when the lake is frozen, gasoline costs $7 a gallon.
The trauma that islanders have had in the past for our energy needs, there's still scars from when people were transporting it before, and the Meadow, it blew up. They were going after gasoline. That was my uncle was on there. When they have to make a trip like that, we're asking them to risk their lives.
Fuel costs a lot of money. That's an economic incentive as well as the environmental incentive.
Being the most remote inhabited island, in the Great Lakes, realize the logistics, the costs, but I see all these as fixable issues.
Islands make great little natural laboratories.
So it's kind of like a lab, a petri dish for experimentation and innovation.
One person can't make it happen. It has to be the community.
We're the Emerald Isle. We're, America's gem. We have some of the most rarest, threatened, and endangered plant species and natural communities. So if we can go to a more sustainable way of living, it's going to do nothing but benefit us and our island.
With the ERCP award, we were able to build the capacity of our smart energy team and the facilitating organization, Meadow, by making sure everyone was compensated for their time in meetings, research, and other tasks. We were able to contract with accounts management professionals and several consultants.
I've been an island resident for 41 years, year-round. ERCP and ETIP are two of the committees that I've been sitting on, and I've really been excited about them.
My name is Julie Runberg. I am a fourth-generation Islander. I was on the St. James Township Planning Board for several years.
Through Charles Meadow and the ERCP awards, the benefits to the townships have been numerous.
I do a lot of volunteer work, and when I'm paid for something, I feel more motivated to work for that company. And I have the heart investment in it, but it helps when I can pay my bills at the same time.
We also sent team members and township trustees to sustainability conferences like the Global Sustainable Islands Summit that both informed and inspired them.
It allowed me to see that all islands from all over the world have the same problems. I came away with the understanding that we, the residents of the island, have to make sure we save our island.
The award also enabled us to reach out, engage, and get feedback from island community members about sustainable energy and what that could mean for them.
I work with students at the undergrad and graduate level to study the community and social aspects of energy transitions. Recently had a student team working on communications documents, so creating kind of pamphlets or other kind of communication tools.
So a really big part of what I did, I would say, is going out into the community, talking, networking, trying to make people aware of what we are working on.
Finding that human connection is really important, both to get the sort of buy-in and the sense of responsibility or reciprocity for engagement with the project and longer term engagement.
Then the sustainability fair, which is another way for us to interface with the community.
It's morphed into a top-notch, remarkable energy fair that educates the residents, educates the visitors.
People are getting much more interested. From last year to this year, I've been able to notice that there was an increase of population, but also there were varieties of things that people could learn.
I spent 3 days during the sustainability fair. We met yet another person who had run an audit company. His name is Adam Duke. And he gave a presentation on what he do when you do an audit.
We also have Agathon as a partner who can install solar on the island, and they came to the sustainability fair.
Technical advisors at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory worked with us to start the data collection process and envision new energy systems.
ERCP helped us investigate which critical infrastructures are really important if there were a major emergency. Looking around for those critical infrastructures, we also started thinking about, well, are these businesses and buildings energy efficient?
Somebody wiser than I once said, the reason you do audits on houses is to make sure that when you put solar on or you put some other technology on it, that you just don't efficiently lose energy. The worst thing to do is to put solar on a leaky house.
He was instrumental in helping us to find someone who could do audits on our critical buildings, of which there are not many in Michigan.
I did call several companies and asked, do you do energy audits? Yes. Do you do one of Beaver Island? No. It was a several-month process, but we found him.
We were able to, with the grant money, go ahead and hire a company to come to the island from the mainland and do investigative energy audits, which were much more in depth than what could be offered by the local electric company.
You're looking at the public facilities in an effort to establish energy baseline and generate improvement analysis, looking for energy savings opportunities. This is definitely an energy efficiency opportunity, just to seal the holes and cracks.
Overall, these places that we're doing the energy audits are also critical infrastructures for the island. And it's good for our community because it's going to protect everybody.
We now have a baseline of what our energy use is so that we can move forward in finding the best sources for alternative energy.
We've been doing studies about solar and wind and looking at the generators and what would be feasible for that. Wave energy is a new source that they're looking into. Beaver Island is really an ideal spot for that.
The ERCP prize really helping us to look at all the things we need to look at.
Where could we put solar? How would it help the island? Who could get it? Who couldn't? Why we could, why we couldn't. As we got all this information, we were able to put together some feasibility studies. For one, we started looking at ground solar mounts and where's there acreage on the island, but then also how does it access back to our generators? And we did a feasibility study for our community school here on the island. What would it mean cost-wise for the school to do a rooftop solar panel, but also to create an e-charging station for a future e-bus they're looking at?
For me, the real goal would be, how can the school be a model for an institution on the island of energy conservation by reducing energy as much as possible? What can we do to help generate electricity as well, with the rooftop solar as a possibility?
Having the ERCP grant really made it so that we can connect a lot of these dots together when we're doing all this work.
Our new data and strong partnerships give us a great foundation to move into the next phase of our energy projects.
We are working with Peaine Township to work towards our long-term goals, which is making the island have sustainable, affordable energy. It's the first time in my life I've seen both townships come together to work on this.
Having an institution like Michigan Tech involved, we have alumni all over the place. We're identified as a leader in this space.
We met with Sherry Culver, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Great Lakes Energy,
which is a big company. It's the largest co-op. And I told her what I was doing with Beaver Island, and she goes, wow, when I got this new role just recently, they charged me with making Beaver Island more resilient. Funny that. She made plans to go to Beaver Island for the sustainability event, and she was there when I was there. It really showed that this company is willing to work.
We are very pleased to have exceeded our timeline goals. By managing our ERCP funds well, we were able to have the first 5 critical facilities audited during this past year instead of waiting to have them done after Phase 2.
Now that we've got this data, it would be great to be able to funnel it and utilize what we've got. We could go back and maybe help fund some of the upgrades that need to be done.
We are now on the cusp of taking the next great strides toward our short-term goals of increased energy efficiency for our townships, businesses, and homeowners, and towards our long-term goals for sustainable, renewable, and clean energy systems island-wide.
Beaver Island is just beginning its track into sustaining this island.
We've just begun.
We look forward to the possibility of continuing our relationship with the ERCP HeroX teams in supporting our ongoing work that is so essential to Beaver Island's energy resilience and to the